This is the most comprehensive SAT tutorial you will ever find online. So the first question is just 10% of 470, which is 47. So here looks like 4x is isolated. So all I need to do is subtract 6, which is 12. Next question, word problem, 25 service fee, which is going to be my y-intercept. Per hour rental fee, 10 is going to be my slope. They want us to use t, so it's going to be 10t plus 25. They say that I can spend a maximum of 75. Maximum means it's less than or equal to 75d. Question 4, they just want us to set them equal to each other. X squared plus 9 is now equal to 25. X squared is equal to 16. The answer is 4. This is a very simple probability. There is 14 possible outcomes. Probability is always desired outcome over the total outcome. There's a total of 14 outcomes. What's the probability of getting a 2? There's only one 2 on the dice, so it's going to be 1/14. I know B looks very sexy, but no, the right answer is A. The printer produces posters at a constant rate, 42 posters per minute. So they give us a rate per minute. We need to convert it per hour. When something happens per minute, how often does it happen per hour? 60 times. So we just do 42 times 60, 2,520. Question 7, simply function notation. We need to evaluate the function f when x is equal to 4, 30. Keep going. This is a word problem where they need you to create a linear equation based on the word problem. The teacher is creating an assignment worth of 70 points. Whenever I see a word problem, I kind of differentiate between rate and value whenever I see a number. So 70 would be a value. The assignments will consist of questions worth 1 point and 3 points. 1 per question. So 1 and 3 are going to be our slopes. And then we know x represents a 1 point and y represents a 3 point. 3 is every y and 1 is every x, which is answer choice D. Next one, looks like two triangles are similar. P and Q and L and M, they corresponding. Cool. Angle M, which is in the second position, has a measure of 53. Angle Q, which is also in the second position, has to also equal 53 because when two triangles are similar, all of their angles are the same. Question 10, you can just use substitution and plug this in. So x is equal to 15. Next one, they're giving me a line of best fit situation where they're giving me a lot of values. This line, if we were to draw this, you could see that this is negative trending, which eliminates C and eliminates D. And I could see that my y-intercept is positive, which means the answer here is B. There's a graph, and they're asking me for the number of values. Y is equal to 0. F of x is just a fancy way to say y. So we're just looking for the number of x-intercepts. And it looks like there's 1, 2, 3. So the answer here is C. Question 13, another word problem. So words and numbers, whenever I see a number, is this a value? Is this a rate? 71 is clearly a value. This is my final value. This is going to be my Y. Each package of party hats costs $3. That's going to be my slope. So let's just say 3x plus 1y is equal to 71. And then I happen to know that x is equal to 10. So then 30 plus 1y is equal to 71. Y is going to equal to 41. Question 14, they want us to factor here. What are the two numbers that multiply into negative 24 and add up to positive 10? This is going to be positive 12 and negative 2. So when we factor, it's going to look like this. Z plus 12, Z minus 2. Now set your factors equal to 0. Z is equal to negative 12 or Z is equal to 2. Both answers are completely appropriate. Just take your pick. 15 looks like a exponential growth. In exponential growth function, we have A, which is our initial value. We have B, which is our rate. And then X, which is going to be the number of times something happens. So here we have 300,000, which doubles, which means B is our 2. That happens every 3 hours. So the exponent is going to be X, and X would represent the number of hours over 3, every 3 hours. And we actually happen to know that X is equal to 15. So it's going to be 300,000 times 2 to the power of 15 over 3, which is the same thing as 5. So I do 2 to the 5th, and I multiply this by 300,000, which is answer choice D. Question 16, all they need us to do here is factor out the greatest common factor, which is going to be 6x squared times y squared. And then when we divide 12x squared y squared by that, we will get 2, which eliminates A, eliminates B. When we divide x to the 8th by x squared. We will have to subtract the exponents, which gives us x to the 6th. Answer choice C. Question 17, I call this linear interpreting problems. So here I know that there is a 2-hectare park and there's a 35-hectare residential area. Both of these are values. These are not rates. So that means x and y are actually going to represent a slope. X would be something that is relevant to hectare park because it's going to be something, I don't know what it is yet, per hectare park. And it's going to be the number of trees because it will equal to 3,934. That's the trees. So it's going to be something trees per hectare park, which is average number of trees per hectare in the park. Answer choice A. 18, they give us a graph, and what do they want? They want us to come up with an equation. So it's negative trending again, which eliminates A and it eliminates C. Both of them have a positive slope. Now, to be very exact and to not allow the SAT to mess with me, you see how these are not squares and these are rectangles? I'm just going to grab a point here, and I'm going to grab a point here, and I will use a very slow but correct process of figuring out exact equation of a line. 0, 40, and it's going to be 60, 0. So the equation of a slope, the difference of y over the difference in x, negative 40 over 60, which is the same thing as negative 2/3. And which one of these has a negative 2/3? I have a shortcut because these are written in a standard form, like ax squared plus by is equal to c. I can use a shortcut, negative a over b, to figure out my slope. So here the slope is going to be negative 2/3. So the answer is B. For instance, here the slope is going to be negative 3/4 because it's the same thing as negative 12 over 8. Really cool shortcut. You can use it if you're given the standard form of a line. Question 19. Looks like these are two similar shapes. Circle A has a radius of 3n. The circle B has a radius of 129n, where n is a positive constant. Well, circles are always going to be similar. That's the cool thing. So here's what we know. Whenever we're given two similar shapes, they have a ratio. So here we're going to compare the ratio of the radius. N is not significant because it stays the same. The ratio of the two shapes is going to be 3 over 129. Whenever we're talking about the ratio of their areas, we're going to have to square the ratio of the sides. So it's going to be 9 over 16,641. The area of circle B, how many times greater than the area of circle A? So we just need to divide this large number by 9, which is 1,849. Really big topic on the SAT. Whenever you have two similar shapes, what do you do with their area? What do you do with their volume? Question 20, they're simply asking you about the maximum data value in the set. So their data values, well, it looks like the maximum one is 14. 21, they're giving you an equation of a circle and they're asking you for the radius. They're also giving you these, which are endpoints of a diameter. You can use a distance formula if you want to, but I can clearly see that the diameter here is 10 because the x-coordinate doesn't change. We went from 4 to 14, which means that the radius is 5. So we're going to a slightly harder territory here. Pay attention to the words. The measure of angle R is 2 pi over 3 radians. That's okay. We can measure degrees and radians. The measure of angle T is 5 pi over 12 radians greater. Angle T is basically equal to angle R plus 5 pi over 12. That's okay. We could do that because R could be replaced with 2 pi over 3, and now we just need the measure of angle T in degrees. That's a piece of cake. T is equal to 13 pi over 12. Let's convert that real fast. I know that 1 pi has 180 degrees. Pi cancels. That equals to 195. Question 23. We now know that a certain town has an area of 4.36 square miles, and then they want it now converted into square yards. But the conversion factor that they give us is flat. So here, 4.36 miles squared times miles squared out. We will have to confront it with square yards. How do we get square yards? We just take 1,760 and we square that. It starts with 13,505, so approximately D. 24. SAT likes to experiment with different ways of giving you points so that you can figure out the equation of a line. They can give it to you as regular coordinates. They can give it to you as a table, the way they're giving it to you here. They can give it to you as a graph a couple of problems ago, or they can give it to you as a function notation. So here, that's a table. Don't be afraid. So just grab the 2 points. So you have 18 and then 130, and then you have 23 and you have 160. The slope here is 30 divided by by 5, which is also known as 6. The slope of line H is y equals 6x plus b. We don't know the y-intercept yet, but we will find out by just plugging in one of the coordinates. 130 is equal to 6 times 18 plus b. So the exact equation of line H is 6x plus 22. And we know that line K is 5 units down. So then line K would be y equals 6x plus 17. So that is my line K. And then I need to know the x-intercept. Whenever I use the word intercept on the SAT, I always remind myself, hey, the other one is 0. What's the other one? They're looking for the x-intercept. That means y needs to be 0. So we say 0 equals 6x plus 17. We isolate 6x by itself, and then we divide by 6. The answer is D. The way I would like to solve it is through the number of solutions. The way I see this is a 2-equation situation. One is a quadratic, another one is a line. They intersect at exactly 1 point, which means the discriminant has to equal to 0. So let me just blend these two together. C, negative x squared plus 9x minus 100. Bring everything to the left because I don't like dealing with negative x squared. X squared minus 9x plus 100 plus c, and that all is equal to 0. Now, my discriminant is b squared minus 4ac, which is 81 minus 4 times 1, because a is 1. My c is going to be 100 plus c. All of it has to equal to 0. So now I have 81 minus 400 minus 4c is equal to 0. Negative 319 for c. C is equal to negative 319 over 4. 26 does look confusing because it is. The first equation is the same exact thing as the second equation, simply multiplied times 5. We just need to find a coordinate that would work when we plug it into equation. It's the same equation, so I'll just be plugging it into the first one. A lot of students lose it whenever they see variables. To make it less scary, let's take a look at B. If R is something we would plug in for Y, this would be something that we would get for X. And then that would be a true statement. Let's do this. We see that 2 times the scary thing, negative 3R over 2 plus 7 over 2 plus 3 times R is equal to 7. We can actually rewrite this as negative 3R plus 7 over 2. And then when we multiply that times 2, these cancel. So we end up with negative 3R plus 7 plus 3R is equal to 7. These will cancel. 7 is equal to 7. True statement. The answer is B. Last question, 27. Whenever they use an equilateral triangle, it is never an accident. Equilateral means all 3 sides are equal, and the perimeter is 624. To find each individual side, we'll need to divide by 3, which is 208. And what else we know about an equilateral triangle is that every angle is going to be 60 degrees. So we know that the height, k rad 3, and we know that this is going to be 2x, this is going to be x, and this is going to be x rad 3. These are your basic 30, 60, 90 ratios. So this one is going to be 60 degrees. This one is x is going to be 104. K has to be 104 as well because that equals to 104 rad 3. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it useful. Don't forget, watching someone else solve problems only seems useful. Do it yourselves. Only when you get confused, find this information. I'm at your service in the membership on my Instagram. Find me anywhere. Good luck on your SAT.